Hello everyone, this is Jibu. So that would be my second video on how to use Earthdawn character sheet on API for roll20. On the last video that was more for GMs, I showed how to set up a game. This video would be more for players on how to create your character and manage the character development. So we get back to our game that we created last time, and we started. And the first thing that we would like to do is to go in the journal and create a new character. We skip the roll20 dialog for this, so just save the changes, and this will open your character sheet. This is something that you sometimes have with the API where the sheet doesn't detect the API, so you just click to reconnect, and now your sheet is in API mode. But all the character creation that I will show works the same in API mode or no API mode. So I'll go in the overview and I'll name my character, and just for fun, this will be Gerald, the honorable thief for people who have read the novels. And the first thing we want to do in this creation mode is to set up the character as a player character, because it's pre-creating a discipline and some talents and languages and the basic equipment. So this gives us a first view of the sheet. There is a bit more on this view because this is a creation mode. So this is guiding you through the steps of creation, but just for the general, on the upper left corner of the sheet, you will have all your pools, health, karma, and so on. On the upper right, you will have the name and a few quick action buttons. On all panes, you will have here your attributes and characteristics, and then you will be able to navigate between some overviews, that is the general view, and some specialized views. So as you see, the character creation view is guiding you step by step. Step 0 we did already by setting it as PC, and then race, attributes, characteristics. These are the steps as described in the player guide. For most of the things that we do when creating or evolving a character, there are several ways that we can add something. We could, for a discipline, for example, we could select it from the drop down. But if you have the compendium is a copy of the book, so you could also go in the disciplines of the compendium and just choose your discipline here and drag and drop. Because not everyone has a compendium, I'll start from the drop down and I will choose a thief. You see that it has gone into filling the durability. One thing to understand is that there are two sources of data that the sheet is looking at. It has its own internal database where you have most of the characteristics, the durability, what are the talents, and stuff like this. But there is no description, especially for the talents. It will tell you it's based on dexterity, it's one strain, it's karma, it's not, but it will not tell you the exact description, because this is something that you have to pay for, either for the PDF, for the compendium, or having the books. But the internal database has all the settings so that it's pre-configured. Another way is, if you have the compendium, you can use the source of that data of the compendium. So here we have a thief, and you see we also have a button here to add the talents. We will come back to that later. We can, same way, I'll show the other way so that you understand. I will pick a race. This time I will pick from the compendium. I will take human, drag and drop, and my character is now a human. You see this button I here is really only for compendium users. This is something that you will find in multiple places of the sheet, and this is opening the part of the compendium with the actual data from it, so you can very quickly access your information here. Another thing that is really interesting is that you see it right now. If you leave your pointer somewhere and hover on it and just leave it here, it will give you some tooltips on information how to use. So here it's explaining you that the API written here is showing you the mode in which you are. Here's this button, it explains you it's new day, it's to refresh your karma on recovery test, and so on. So I've made the first step, I've chosen a race and a discipline. I'll now spend my attribute points as per the rule book. You have two ways to do that. Either you can spend them one by one, plus one here, plus one here, or you can directly change the step and it will calculate how many points you have to go there. So it's a thief. I would put it step 7 in dexterity. He's smart. I would put step 7 in perception. Step 6, and how many points do I have left? On step 6 in charisma, and you see that it turned green. I have made all my points. And you see that physical defense, all the attributes have adapted to this. Then now I can go to my talents, and here we come back to the button here. When you click on it, it will actually look at all your the talents of the thief, and it will create them and create you a choice for your talent option. So you can choose, and I'll put melee weapons. One of the things that you can see here also is, and this is something that you will have only in API, you have these stars here that are a way to mark the talents that you want to view for your combat when you're in API on create token actions. I'll show it quickly. I'll show it later on what's the result of what are under the stars. For now, let's just spend our talent points, 3 in melee, 3 in awareness, and 2 in stealthy strike, just like this. And now we can assign skill ranks, and the languages don't have their own. You don't have the skill for speak and read and write as a line in the skills. Here it's directly computing depending on how many languages you know based on the checkboxes. So for example, here he knows Ordzet. He speaks on read writes Ordzet, so he has rank 2 and 2. And you see here the ranks have gone down. We will put him whatever wild animals as knowledge. We will put him sculpting as artisan. And then you can pick up and add general skills, conversation, rank 3. And you can just pick up whatever general skills you want to spend your points. So let's finish the points like this. And you, you see that all the points have been spent. The racial and karma abilities are filled in automatically from your race and your discipline. You can equip your character also going into the equipment. You see that the 100 silver are already here. So you can either, again from the compendium, you could go to goods and services and the compendium on select, for example, a short sword, and just drag and drop, and you have now your short sword. And you see here a transaction has appeared that you have to accept, and when you accept, it's actually discounting the silver. You could also ignore it if your GM tells you it's for free. You could just ignore the transaction. So we have now the short sword, and you see here this part is purely inventory, while these parts are armor on weapons and actually what you actually have. So you see the short sword here with its step 4 damage added to the strength to have the step. Let's put him also a leather armor. Let's put padded leather, and you see he has now a padded leather armor on 4. And important here is that I had lines pre-created, and you have a checkbox for is it equipped. So I'll unequip the empty one. I delete even the empty line it's on the shield, and I'll just keep the padded leather here. I can remove, this is an important icon. This is your icon telling that you're in edit mode, that you can change the data. And again, I'll accept the transaction. go back to my overview and see now my, well, the physical armor in creation mode didn't add, but you will see it later that the physical armor will have been taken into account when we go back to the normal view. You can flesh out your character, you can take notes, but a very important step here now is to link your tokens. This is a step that you have only on the API. So I'll drop a token for JRoll. Just I'll resize so that it has the appropriate size for my grid. Select the token, and I click link token. This, you will get a feedback here that the token has been linked. This is important. So now that this is done, you're ready to play. The last thing you want to do that will turn you back in the normal view is to exit on post legend points. What does it mean to post legend points? Is that there are functions into the sheet that actually calculate how many legend points you have. Well, the points that we have used during creation are some kind of offset to this. He must know that these ones, when you have them, you're still at 0. So this is the moment where you save this configuration of how did I spend my free ranks. So now if you exit on post legend points, you see that it has now turned back to a different view, and you have new tabs that have appeared, and you have here your normal view, how it should be in play with your overview where you have everything, your combat tab where only the ones that were starred appear, and then you have your view, separate view for talent, knacks, equipments, and the tracking of legend points. And one thing you see that is important that is done during the linking of the token is declaring to roll20 that your first bar is your karma, so that if you remove a karma, it also appears on the bar. And if you remove it on the bar, it will also remove on the sheet. It will do the same with wands, and it will do the same with damage. This is all synchronized. The API takes care of it. It's possible in no API mode, but you have to do it manually. Another thing you see here is that now that I have applied a wand, you see that there are modifiers that appear everywhere. I'll come back to that in the next video. Let's remove this wand for now. The last thing that is very interesting with the API is the synchronization of the token markers and token actions. Token markers are your statuses. So if you decide that you are in aggressive attack, you will click here, the aggressive attack will appear here, and it will make you the actual modifiers that corresponds to your aggressive attack. If now you do it from the sheet with a bubble here, you can choose your aggressive attack also, and it will come back to the sheet at the same time. So this is synchronized. This is one of the things that happens because you linked correctly. You linked the token to the sheet using the API. The last thing that the token linking is doing is that it's creating, when you select your token, you have this bar of token actions. And you see that there are a few standard ones, the initiative, a knockdown roll, rolling karma, but there is also, you find back again your awareness on melee weapons, that again, awareness on melee weapons are the ones here that you have put a star. This will allow you during combat to make what you need without having to open the character sheet. So if I select here, click awareness, the pop-up is behind the sheet, but it's here, and you can roll awareness directly without opening the sheet. Okay, that's all for character creation. I'll make a new video about character evolution and on dice rolling. Thank you very much, everyone.